Hey guys, happy Tuesday, our first Tuesday leadership call for 2023. And oh my goodness, is the year starting off crazy already? I am super duper excited and looking forward to the entire year continuing these calls. It's also payday. Yay for Thrive Payday. And guys, with the BOGO last week, like, wow. And then just Elite, like it's been massively crazy. And I really, really hope that you guys are seeing the increase. And remember, if you've kind of been like sitting out and you're just now getting back into things, a lot of times the people that are getting massive amounts of interest right this moment are people that have been posting for the last couple months about the Elite. So start now. Don't be afraid to share it in your stories, share it on your post. You guys, one of the number one New Year's resolutions is weight loss, right? And if you look at the side-by-side ingredient list, like my mind was blown. And literally, this is going to sound so silly, but I guarantee a lot of people feel the same. But vitamin D being added to it, I'm super, you guys, if you don't know the benefits of vitamin D, you need to go and look them up, okay? Because I'm pumped, right? So, Susan, I'm super pumped to have you on. And you guys, Susan has been with Lavelle for quite some time. I'm going to let her share a bit of her story. I know that she's gone, been around and she's had highs, she's had lows. And Susan, can we just start off with you giving people a little background and how you got introduced to Thrive?
Yes. So can you hear me okay?
Yep. Perfect.
So, in case some of you don't know, I grew up in a little small town called Bowie, Texas, the same hometown of Maria Dillard. And Maria is she graduated 8th grade when I graduated high school, but the town is so small, everybody knows everybody. Fast forward several years later, I'm walking, I had my first child at 27 years old. I'm walking him into kindergarten. And when Maria is walking her daughter into kindergarten too. We had no idea. We had moved to a totally different small town. I think I knew that she was here, but that was pre-Facebook. So I didn't really know. So she's here. So needless to say, Maria has been in 2 different walks of life with me. And 9 years ago, November was 9 years. It's Thanksgiving week. Or it's right before Thanksgiving, I think. I'm walking into Walmart. I'm a tired, exhausted single mom of 2 kids. At this time, they were, probably, let's go back 9 years. So Bristen's 18. So they were 9 and 11, I believe. Single mom walking into Walmart, working a 40 to 50 hour week job as a marketing director of a huge car dealership. Huge. It was a huge car dealership and lots of used car dealerships. And I've got to go into Walmart and get the rolls and the stuff for Thanksgiving. I do not cook. I'm horrible, but my mom had sent me on a mission because I worked in that town where Walmart was. I go in, my phone rings. It's Maria. Oh my God, you got to hear about this new thing I've got. And I'm like, oh dear Lord. I rolled my eyes. It was terrible. I was in a terrible mood, y'all. I was tired and exhausted. Right. And I was a single mom and I just got off work and I'm dealing with the Walmart crowd. So just imagine my aggravation all the way around. I don't want to talk to her. And she said, just call me back when you get home. Well, of course, I'm not going to call her back. Whatever she needed me to buy was going to cost me money. And okay, what's right after Thanksgiving? Christmas. I don't have money to spend. I'm not going to spend. I had a very much single mom mentality. Okay. You gotta conserve everything, right? And so lo and behold, she's not gonna not let me talk to her. She calls until I answer the phone. So I get on the phone that night. She's telling me how great this product is for her. Y'all, I have to tell you, it was probably 2 months before that, I stocked up on my other supplement that I bought from her, right? Because she was in another company for 11 years. And I was like, what are you talking about? Well, here's what she knew. She knew that I was tired and exhausted. She knew that I drank at least 3 or 4 big Sonic Dr. Peppers a day as my energy source. She knew that I started my day with that other company's energy drink. She knew that I had just turned 40 years old at that time. Yes, I'm 49 now. I had just turned 40. She knew that I not necessarily financially struggled, but financially lived paycheck to paycheck. Okay. But what the main reason she called me is because I was one that was very vocal about the very bad headaches that I had all the time. No medical claims, You know what I'm talking about. That's why she called me. And she had heard that this product was helping with that. What she did not know, she knew all that stuff about me, but she didn't know. Remember, I told you she grew up with me. Y'all, I was tall, slender, 5'9", slender all the time. I was a dancer and a dance teacher when I was in high school and after. I danced for years. I never had a weight problem, but here I turned 40 and bam, all of a sudden weight starts coming on and it ain't going off. I'm like, what? I don't know what's happening. And I wasn't exercising. Gosh, I was too tired. I didn't have that in me. I dang sure wasn't cooking for my kids because I could cook anyway. And if I did, it was not healthy, or we went through the drive-through. So she didn't know all of that stuff about me. She also didn't know that all those years of tap dancing on hardwood floors and dancing on hardwood floors literally made my knees, ankles, and feet throb every morning like I weighed 400 pounds. And I didn't quite weigh 400 pounds, but I felt like it. They throbbed. They hurt. I was grouchy. My kids were getting the leftovers of me every day. I was not my best version. So she says, you've got to take this product. Now, I remember her talking about the customer promoter thing. I remember her talking about the bonuses. No intentions whatsoever. But I signed up as a promoter, I think one, because she needed another promoter, but two, I was super cheap and I didn't want to pay shipping multiple times. And I hated that whole auto ship thing. And I knew I could buy it in bulk and I could split it with my boyfriend at the time. And so I was going to give it a full 6 weeks run. He would give it 6 weeks. It was that $400 pack, right? Last thing in the world I needed to do. That is the last thing I need to do. I am going to back up and tell you a real quick story. For years, at this point, I had probably been in Mary Kay for 12 or 13 years. On December 31st, 20 years ago, I was at, just like I felt like this last December 31st. Oh my God, I got to get this last message out. I got to get this. 20 years prior to this last New Year's Eve we just had, I was winning my first car with Mary Kay. So my baby was my son, who's 21 now. He was 1. I'm staying up. I'm not sending messages. I think I was doing emails because I don't really remember what I was doing 20 years ago.
Or texting.
My first car. Yeah. So I had a pretty good Mary Kay business. And kid you not, I would go to those big Mary Kay conventions and I would stare at that stage. And I'd be like, man, if I'd have just been on the ground level of this company, because at that time it was 41 years old. But I'd just been on the ground level of this company back in its first 10, 20 years, where would I be? Because I was good at it. But where would I be? I would have more than just a little, whatever that car was, Pontiac something. I don't remember what it was.
I gotta tell you guys though, I'm sorry to interrupt you for 1 second, but I want to tell every single person that's on here right now. Okay. If you have not looked up people that you grew up with, that you went to school with, that you used to work with at your first job, that you were in choir with, that you were in cheer with, that you were in gymnastics with, I don't know, whatever your activities were, your babysitter, the daycare that you went to. If you have not looked up those people, you guys, that literally, if you look up friends, like go to friends, like find friends. Okay. There's actually a way that you can say in my town, in my city, or okay, now it used to not be so easy to do that. However, I highly suggest, okay, doing that. Go look up people that you went to school with. If you have old pictures from high school, middle school, whatever, post those pictures, tag those people. Guess what? You're going to show up on their timeline. People are going to friend you. You guys, I did this, I kid you not, about 5 or 6 years ago. It's going to pop up any day now, for my choir. And I had 650 comments on that post and a ton of people that friended me. So anyways, people that know, like, and trust you, right? Those people are already built in. Now you don't know their story, so never prejudge. Just like Maria didn't. Maria just knew, hey, she already tried this. I know her. Hey, I'm telling everybody because I'm excited and I know what I have my hands on. And honestly, the fact that it was no website fee and coming from direct sales, like you've been in for 20 years, I've been in for a decade, like literally like almost a decade in this industry, right? And the same thing is that literally, you guys, we're still at the beginning. All right. We are still in that beginning, but we're stable. And that is what people need to think, right? Because it's like, holy moly, what's going to happen 10 more years from now? And you have to see these companies that have been around for years and years and years. You guys, a lot of the people do not, like, yes, there's people that are going to jump from company to company to company. But imagine if you jumped in or you got serious right now, right? And I'm not talking about you're like, oh, Speedy Gonzalez and whatever, right? But don't compare yourself to that next person that maybe has been Miss Social Butterfly, right? Katie Muntz is very introverted. She's very successful with this. Okay. So you don't think that you have to have this, be involved or anything. Katie had dropped out of school, and I'm not going to tell her story right now, but my thing is that all walks of life, Maria could have thought that, Susan, even though she was a single mom, I mean, she probably didn't know all of that. You guys, social media 20 years ago was not like it is now. I mean, literally, we were just starting on Facebook at that point. I think, or MySpace or something. Anyways, but I want you guys to let us listen. And if you're not friending people regularly, if you're not interacting, do the ABCs. Okay, go through your A's, go through your B's, go through your C's on your friends list. Look up old schools and stuff, because that is a key market. All right. That's a key market that you're missing. In my first business, it was a ton of people I went to school with first that joined me. People I never imagined. So, all right, I'm shutting up. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. And so she reminded me of those statements I used to make to her about, man, if I'd have just been on the ground level of this company. Now, y'all, I've been in Mary Kay for so long, but the first practice husband that I had, I'm only on my second one, but my practice husband, he was not okay with me going and doing makeup and shows and all that kind of stuff. So I had to kind of let that business go. Though I tried to explain, free cars don't drive up in the driveway on their own. You have to work for them. So by the time Lavelle came around, my Mary Kay business was just maintaining. It was just basically helping my customers. I wasn't building it. I wasn't doing any of that. And actually I maintained it a lot, but Lavelle took off so fast that when my daughter was 12, I turned my Mary Kay business over to her, and y'all, she still works that business. So that's, I mean, it's what is it? It is residual income. Women were washing that skincare and makeup off their face every day, and they're putting it back on. If there was ever a business to be in, you need something that has residual income. We take our vitamins every day. We have to continue to take them. I never understood like furniture sales or the pictures on the wall sales or on home interior. I never understood that, because once they bought everything, they didn't keep buying, right? So anyway, she reminded me of those statements I used to make about how I wish I was on the ground level, and she was throwing this opportunity at me, and I was like, whatever, okay, just give me the products. I need to feel better. Looking at this, I signed up as a promoter. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. By day 3, my knees, ankles, and feet quit hurting. I lost 2 pounds in the first few days. I was singing on my way to the shower. I was starting to cook for my kids. I was exercising in the afternoon. I was day 6. I went 6 days without a headache. I was a sold believer at that time. But remember, I signed up as a promoter on day 1, right? I had 14 days to hit that bonus. I remember her talking to me about it. I don't remember a dang thing she said, because all it was a bunch of numbers. Nothing. I remembered nothing. But the next day, I was out eating dinner at a Mexican restaurant with some friends. It was crazy crowded. It was loud. And they said, my friend sitting across the table from me said, hey, man, I got to get this weight off. And I am tired all the time. And I got to quit drinking all these Starbucks. And I was like, oh my gosh, have you heard of this Thrive thing? And she said, no. And I said, well, apparently I sell it. So you've got to figure out what's going on with this. And she said, well, how do I find out? I said, I really don't know. So I picked up my phone. I dialed Maria's number. I put it on speaker, and I slid it across the table in this crowded restaurant. Maria told her all about Thrive. She signed up. She was my first promoter. Bam, I'm halfway to my VIP 800. No idea what I'm doing whatsoever. No idea. I was like, oh, wow, I have my first promoter. Now what do we do? No idea. Ignorance on fire was just a blessing. So here's what happened. I did not get my products for 7 days. And what day did I tell you that I felt like, aha, this is a good product? It was day 6. That's 13 days. What if I'd have kept my mouth shut till day 13? I would not have earned a $1,320 bonus. I relied on Maria's story more than I could tell you. I still do that to this day. I still make her do. I can tell anybody any answer. I've been in this business for 9 years. I can tell you why you're feeling this way. I can tell you what to change. I can tell you all this stuff. I don't do that. I still have to lock her into group messages. She's not in every single one of mine because Lindsay Rossler's on my team, Samantha Cox is on my team, Tammy Battaglia's on my team, Tiffany Deeroff's on my team. I will a lot of times hook them in my three-way messages. I have no problem with that because their stories are really good. So I relied on Maria's story for the first 36 people that signed up with me, y'all. I don't even know.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah,
Susan,
I was like, I don't know how to sign people up. I don't know
you've
what to
been
tell
in
them.
for 10 years. Okay. You've been in for
9 years.
10 years. Okay. Or 9 years. Okay. But listen, like, I mean, to me, it's like you've been in 10. Like, I'm like, well, what at this point? It's like, seriously, you guys, like, when's the last time? Honest question over in the comments. I want each of you guys to say, when's the last time you were in a three-way message? When's the last time you put somebody that you were talking to in a three-way message? And shout out to you if you say yesterday or today. I love it.
And if you're not doing it, start now.
Start now.
I sometimes I will see where I'm starting to gap in some things, and I'll be like, oh, it's because I haven't put the last 4 people on a message, and then I'll be like, okay, no, you have to do that at some point. Even if they've been a customer for a month, go put them in a message today and say, hey, I just want to introduce you to my friend who told me about Thrive because I want you to know you're a part of a community. If any questions have came up, let's ask them in here because she can help us. Needless to say, I did all that. And several years later, y'all, we were in the Dallas Convention Center with Lavelle. I was walking on the stage to train people. There was 20,000 people in the room. Remember that epiphany I had or whatever when I was brand new Mary Kay? I was like, man, if I could just be on that stage and be teaching people, if I could be one of those people that they valued enough to put on stage to train other people. And there I was. And it was just like the other night on December 31st when I was trying to finish hitting a goal that I had set for myself. And I was like, gosh, 20 years ago, I was doing the same thing, trying to win a car. So that was really funny. But I just kind of took off. And I will never forget Maria calling me in December and saying, hey, you are about to earn the car bonus. Well, y'all, I worked for a car dealer. I didn't need a car bonus at all. I mean, it was a pointless thing to me because I drove a really nice car for free all the time. I'm the marketing director of a GM dealership. They're going to put me in a nice car. But you know what that car bonus paid for me? It paid my utility bill each and every month. And as a single mom, that was key. And I started to share that part of my story. Oh my gosh, I earned a car bonus. I didn't need that. I had a free car, but it just paid my utility bill. And in 5 months, I was chipping away at that single mom debt. And I was starting to see that there could be different options in life. I never started Lavelle to leave my job. I loved my marketing job. That's what my college degree is in. I will assure you that I did not have a team in Mary Kay. So I did not lift and shift people from Mary Kay to come over to Lavelle. I started with 0 people. I needed 2 people to thrive with me to get my stuff for free. As a single mom, that was the #1 priority. And we did it. And we did it. And then I got that car bonus and I was chipping away at that debt. And I was like, this is, it's real funny. The lectures that I've had from Paul and from Maria to get out of the single mom mentality. Susan, you're not in a single mom mentality anymore. Quit thinking like that. Think bigger, dream bigger, do bigger. And I'll never forget Paul seeing me drive up at a local because he asked us to dinner afterwards. And I drove up in a GMC Denali and this is before it was on the car plan. And he was like, I swore she was a car bonus owner. I had just spoke at the local. I was a 200K. And he was like, what's happening? And he pulled me aside and he said, I could have swore you were getting your car bonus. I was like, oh, I do, but I have a free car. And he said, Susan, you are leaving $500 on the table every month that I could be giving to you. Needless to say, I went and bought a little Cadillac that cost me $300. I worked for a GM dealer. I got a good deal on a little car Cadillac. I still got the $300, but now I had $500 extra, right?
I waited too. I waited to get mine just because I think you guys, when we grow up or we don't necessarily think we need something, I was scared. I was scared to get to actually go buy the car. I was okay with the $300, but I actually was losing money on it, just like she was,
Yeah.
And I encourage you to look because you can get a used car, you guys, for cheap, as long as it's within 5 years. And honestly, the first 4 my car is exactly, you guys, right at the auto bonus. So it's why not? right? Why not? I don't plan on going anywhere, but I do suggest that you go and get it when you know you're going to be stable. Like you're going to continue to work your business and you're going to continue to share it and you're going to continue to talk. But and I want to point out one other thing and then I'll shut up. You used it for your utility bill. You guys, relatability, people will build their belief once they are able to pay for the little things and they add up to the big things. Okay. Your vision will grow. And when I started in this industry, I would bet to say that most people start in this industry to make an extra $300 to $500 a month, the majority. And then the rest, I would say, for the product or the community or whatever, but I would say $300 to $500 a month is a big game changer for most families. So, okay, I'm shutting up now.
Heck, I was going to be excited if I made $50 a week just so me and the kids could go out to eat and I wouldn't have to stress about it coming out of my family income. Needless to say, we kind of trucked on, hit the 200K, went on my first trip to Cabo. I'd won one trip with Mary Kay, but it was nothing like that trip to Cabo. It just kept going. I need to tell y'all something. I was a 200K and I stayed in that full-time job for a whole nother year. Now, I will say this. I started doing a little checklist. Many of y'all maybe have heard of it. It was the calendar challenge. It has progressed now into the 5-4-3-2-1, but it was just a challenge I put out to my team in January of 2015. And I said, okay, I've been doing this little checklist every day. Y'all, I was busy. I was a single mom. I was working 40 to 50 hours a week. And now I had this 200K business that I had to figure out how to maneuver and manage it. I didn't want it to fall apart while I was working a regular job. And so I was doing this little checklist every day. I shared it with my team. 32 people signed up to do this little calendar challenge with me. And 30 of them earned their car bonus and their first trip. Let me tell you something. If you are not utilizing your own systems of a checklist every day, free accounts, reaching out, everything that's on the 5-4, even I use the 5-4-3-2-1. Every single Monday, I print off a fresh sheet of the 5-4-3-2-1. I wish I could find it on my desk right now.
And you know what? You're printing it off, but you guys, it's in your cloud office. You can grab a piece of notebook paper and you can literally put it in your phone if you want, in your notes section or whatever you have on Android. I don't know Android, but I want to say this. And I heard Brock Johnson, I heard him say this yesterday or the day before. And since he said it, I have literally read it like 20 times, heard it in different personal development things. Find what you can sustain. Okay. And then if you can do extra, but find what you can sustain every single day. That's going to help you get to your goals. Right. And if you follow 5-4-3-2-1, all right, that right there is literally helping you connect, helping you introduce the products, growing your network, follow up, all of that. All right. So it's helping you with IPAs that are income producing. That's what IPAs are. If you do that every single day, your business is going to do what Susan did. And then as people join you, as people ask you, you guys immediately help them thrive for free, get them doing the things with you. You guys challenge each other every single day. And I promise it's going to change your business. Like it's going to, but you have to find what you're going to sustain. And I think 5-4-3-2-1 is the perfect IPAs to sustain your business. If you just did those every day for the rest of the month, see what happens.
It's very important that you have something consistent in play. Many, many times I have been put on stage or asked at locals or whatever, what do you think grew your business? It was being consistent. It's just like working out. If you worked out one time a week for 4 hours versus 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week, which one's going to work out better for you? The smaller portions and consistent over time. So I can't say that enough. And I wish that I would have thought to grab all the notebooks that I have for this. I'm going into my 10th year of every single one of these sheets being saved and put in that notebook. I get to go back. If this sheet is like halfway empty because maybe I didn't write it down or whatever, I'll notice about 3 weeks later when not one person is signing up with me, when customers are not coming in. What am I doing? What is happening? I go back to staying in that job for another year, and I did not work my Lavelle business at work. I did it before my kids got up. My team calls were at 9:15 at night because I put my kids to bed. I worked at lunch. When I would go to the bathroom, I'd send a message. I drove a lot for that car dealership, so I would have sticky notes of who I needed to talk to, and I would talk to them as I was driving on the Bluetooth, right? So it came down to all debts paid off. I'm literally saving money. I'm having choices with my kids, and the option, not the option, the ultimatum comes up. We need you to be the car dealership girl, not this Thrive girl. Now, I was not married. I was still a single mom. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, they're pulling me into this office to tell me I have to do one or the other. I was coming in here asking if I could go part-time because I wanted to do my Thrive stuff more. And I remember standing up and going, you know what, guys? I think I'm going to go with that Thrive thing. And every single one of those male dominated industry that I was in, all managers, the owner, everybody was like, what? And I was so freeing. Now I'm going to say this. I heard this. I was listening to Courtney Glaser this morning on a Zoom just because I listen to things while I'm running around the house. And she said, whatever you do not quit your job until this business is paying you more than what your job is normally paying you. If because you need to be able to save, you need to be able to have a cushion. You might go into panic mode, right? If you quit your job and then you're like, oh gosh, I have no income. I had built this. This business was making me more money than working 40 to 50 hours a week at that car dealership. The next week was Thrivepalooza. We called it Success from Home back then. It wasn't Thrivepalooza back then. And I remember coming off that stage and Paul Gravett grabbing my arm and he was like, Susan, you have learned to build this business in 20 to 30 minutes a day. Are you going to be able to do this having all day to do it? And I turned and looked at him and I was like, I created the calendar challenge. Of course I'm going to be able to do this. And he said, I'll call you tomorrow. And he did. And he was like, because it's very true. Think about this. When you have a ton of time on your hands, you think you have a ton of time on your hands. Oh, I can get to that later. I can do that later. I'll make those phone calls later. No. This is why every morning when I walk into this office, this sheet is pulled up because all of this stuff gets done before noon. Before noon, I make no appointments. I do nothing. I might go work out at 6:30 in the morning, but that's when I'm probably listening to a Zoom I missed the day before or something. This is my focus. I have to get my work done before I clean my house, before anything. Now, I will say on the daily, I work on a timer, right? So for 20 minutes, I will sit down and I will do nothing but send messages. Happy birthday. How's everything going? Do custom conscious comments. When that 20 minutes goes off, I put the phone down. I'll run and go make my bed, switch the laundry out, pick up the bathroom, that alarm goes off. I come back in here. All those people that answered me, they now go on my 5 reach outs.
It's so funny that you said that. Like,
they are not reach outs until they reply back to me. But I do everything in time chunks because it makes me not sit here for 4 hours, but I just get a balance. That's how I balance.
I think that's excellent because the more time you have, you guys, sometimes and when you're home, okay, first off, anybody that works from home knows people don't think you work. Okay. For some reason, they don't think you have work to do. But here's the thing, you guys, you teach people what you do. All right. Like, you have to set aside work hours. If this is going to be your work from home job, then you have to actually do work during those hours that are productive. And Susan, that timer thing, this is weird, but back when I used to do Weight Watchers, when we had like MySpace and stuff, okay, like there was like a Weight Watchers website that you could get on and do a chat. Anyways, these ladies, that's how they would like separate their day, these stay-at-home moms. And I was a new mom and I'd be like, how are they getting their house clean? And what they would do is they would get on these chats and they would check in, and then they would go and they would set a timer for themselves that they had to go and wash the dishes. And then they could come back to the chat when they finished. Okay. And you guys, literally, there used to be an app called Productivity. I just set my alarms now in my phone, but you can do apps that you set your daily IPAs. You could set this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 up and allow yourself this time frame. And if you get more time, that's great, but reward yourself or get stuff done that you need to have done. So that's an excellent tip because you're getting stuff done. You don't have an option until, like, you're not going shopping or doing anything else until you get your work done for the day, and I think that's a priority.
second tip I really always want to say on that, and Paul has actually called me out on this before, not in a bad way, is I do not reward myself until the work is done. If I set a goal for 2 new customers this week and I have to get my lashes done on Friday, if I didn't get those 2 customers, guess what I have to do? I have to cancel that lash appointment because I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I have to hold my own self accountable in order to get this business accomplished, right? So I am going to share with y'all that throughout the years, my children grew up in this business. They have grown up in this. They know what their mom does. They know the options that came to them because of this business. I've never let myself get complacent. I've never, I get up and I show up every day. I do the IPAs. I do all the things. And even though I do all that, things don't always go as planned. And when I lost my rank, I was devastated. Maria gave me 5 minutes to pout about it. That was it. All you get.
5 minutes. And you guys, this is real.
She allows you to have a 5-minute pity party.
Yeah, but you guys, I'm glad that you're sharing this because people need to know there are going to be setbacks 100%. And I'm going to tell you the setbacks are what is going to help you be able to help your team. And it's also going to humble you. All right. And it's going to help you get yourself realigned and figure out what it is and where you need to start again. So go ahead, tell your story about how you went through.
I really couldn't figure out what I had done to lose my rank. I was really, really devastated. Now I'm going to have to tell y'all, I have been married. I have been divorced. I've been through a nasty custody battle. I have raised amazing children. And I am a very strong-willed woman. I am very independent. Many people often wonder how I was married to the first man I was married to, because like I would run over him with a bus now. It's amazing. I'm not a crier. I'm not really emotional. I'm not super sympathetic. I am sympathetic, but crying makes me uncomfortable. That is a learned behavior that I learned from him. And so therefore, I really am I'm very independent. When I met the man I'm married to now, because I started going back to the gym and I started working out, that's where he was. And many of y'all have met Mike on a trip. I've been married to him, and this week will be 6 years I've been married to him. The poor guy, I mean, you can't cross me. You can't even get in an argument with me. You cannot pay the bills. I'm going to pay everything because I'm going to have complete control over everything. I have finally learned to let that go, by the way. It's just because that's how I am. It takes honestly, I believe it takes a very strong man to be married to somebody like me, because of the learned behaviors that I coming out of the first marriage and then being single for so long. I mean, I was single for 8 years before I got remarried. And most people don't do that well. I had to figure it out. So when I did lose my rank, which was a cut and pay, by the way, y'all, I'm living now in my dream home. I'm saving money for the second child, the youngest one, to go to college. And I'm like, holy crap, what am I going to do? And I will never forget Amber Manquist going, well, I believe this is God trying to humble you and make you rely on your husband, because my husband makes a great living. I just never let him pay for anything. I let him buy the groceries. I needed control of everything. And he was like, Susan, I got you. What are you so stressed out about? I got you. Rebuild your business. That's what he told me. He said, okay, what's your pay cut going to be? I told him. He said, okay, whatever. I'll handle it. You go rebuild your business. You start over. You do what you need to do. And it was such a freeing opportunity, though I still didn't like it. I don't like taking a pay cut. I'm just going to tell you, I don't like taking a pay cut. I feel like the older you get, you should be making more money and working less. I don't really know. But very fortunately now I had to let some pride go, probably a little bit, but that's what I started doing. I probably lost my rank in 2022 4 times. 4 times. I'd come back and then I would lose it again. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I swear I'm working harder. What is happening? What is happening is the industry as a whole was kind of suffering. And what you probably saw is a lot of people freaking out so much about it that they jumped companies because they thought it would be easier over there. There ain't no way in hell I'm starting over. I've been building this thing for 9 years. I'm not starting from ground zero somewhere else. I'm not doing it. But that's what happens. I actually heard Courtney saying that on that Zoom this morning. You need to understand that when you have a low paycheck, that's a humbling experience for you, but you're in sales. There's not, Maria reminded me of this. That car dealership that was booming and shaking the whole time I was there, I guarantee you their sales have dropped. Everything, the economy's just different now. Learn to adjust, keep working your business, keep doing it. Am I making what I was making at that car dealership? No, I'm still making more than that. And I'm still not having to work 40 to 50 hours a week. So the industry that I'm in, the company that I'm in, the product that I take, there's nothing compared to that. So I'm not going anywhere, even when I get to have my 5-minute penny party. And she let me have it again in December. She let me have it again in December. She's like, okay, the day is not over yet, Susan. Y'all, I was at 10 o'clock that morning, I was $9,000 away from balancing out. I'm very red-legged. And I was $9,000 away from balancing out after all the auto ships had went through, after all the relaunch, whatever, everything had went through. I was like, what in the world? And I just literally was like, no, we just did this tag team. It's got to pull out. It did. It did. At 10:59, we were putting the last $250 order in though. And then it balanced out, everything worked. I never quit. She let me have my penny party.
And you have to do that. You have to push through it, because if not, it will break you down, you guys. Like you have to keep on pushing.
I could have thrown my hands up and said, it is New Year's Eve. My house was packed. I could have, but I was like, no, this is what I do. This is what I do. And I sat there and I watched. I had sent all the messages out, y'all, I possibly could that morning before anybody got here. And they were just rolling in. And at the last minute, we were putting in the last order. I did not give up. I wanted to for 5 minutes. She lets me do it for 5 minutes. And then she's like, so what are you going to do? You are Susan Coffman. Get your ass in gear and go do what you know how to do. And I say that to myself often. I am Susan Coffman for a reason. Am I the biggest millionaire in this company? No. Do I have setbacks? Yes. Do I always learn from every mistake, every setback, personal and business? Absolutely. Will I admit when I did something wrong? Absolutely. Will I learn from it? Yes. But y'all, I have for years set an example for those 2 children that I have. I can't give up on them. Yes, they are 18 and 21 years old.
Oh,
so I have to tell y'all, when they launched those what were those bonuses called? The 4 and the 12K and 40, whatever that they launched it September 1st. Do y'all remember that? What were they called?
oh my
Yeah,
God.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody knows.
Okay.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows what we're talking about. So in August, I'm hoping my daughter didn't come down and hear this, so she's heard me talk about it, but it is a true testimony of always doing the right thing. It's staying focused. What do you have to do? In August, my daughter was getting ready to leave for Texas A&M University. She was accepted into the university. That's where I graduated from. This is a big deal for, I had been divorced from her dad for 12 years at this point, all along, though it's not legally in the papers. He was paying half of her school. Not a problem. We talked about the dorm that she picked. I was like, she picked the most expensive dorm. He's like, well, okay. I mean, she deserves it. She has busted her ass through high school. Let her have the most expensive dorm, which had Chick-fil-A in it, y'all. Whatever. We have to buy a new computer. He's like, hey, go ahead and go get it. And I was like, hey, I don't even want you to pay me back for it. Just everything that I pay, getting her ready for school, dorm stuff, computer, all that, just give half of it to her to set in a checking account, because she won't have a job when she first gets down there. Because, you know, she has to move. She has to get down there. 2 days prior to her leaving for college, he calls me and he decides he's not paying for a thing. He's decided that he doesn't agree that she is a little bit more of my liberal child. He doesn't agree. I just have to tell y'all, my daughter goes to church. She loves God. She loves Jesus. But she is not a judgmental person. She's a very open-minded person, and she's very vocal about it. And she backs up everything she does. She had just won a trip to Washington, D.C. for a project she had done in high school, though she had already graduated. Her project won the region, the state, and it won nationals, y'all. It was a huge project that she did. But while she was in Washington, D.C., is when they turned over the Roe v. Wade. And so she was at the Supreme Court, so excited that not about that. She's like, that not the issue, but I'm at the Supreme Court when they've done something huge in the world. Now, she took some pictures. I was like, get out of there, because those people might be crazy because people are mad, you know. So, but what an experience for her to be at the Supreme Court on the day that that overturns. I will say she's very vocal. I wouldn't, if I got pregnant today, I would have a baby. I would not abort a baby, but I'm never going to tell somebody else that they can't do that. That's their body. That's what she's open about. That's what her dad did not like. So he decides to cut her off. I literally went into straight up panic mode, y'all. One, I did not have my 200K in August. It was not looking like I was going to get it in September. I went into straight up panic mode, got to have my 5-minute pity party. And then I said, there's no way, we always do everything right. We do things right in life. She's doing right in life. She's going on to get her education. God's going to bless us. We are not going to worry about this. What dropped on September 1st? Those bonuses dropped. I flipped her to a promoter and we busted our ass. I got the 12K, she got the 4K, my husband got the 4K, and my son got the 4K. That was $24,000 we earned in bonuses. So I had her fall semester covered. I had to take out extra money to do that. But January 4th, when her tuition, bam, it's all sitting in her savings account. Everything I could have, that is not a bragging. Please hear me.
You are not bragging.
I'm not bragging. This is not pretentious. I am just telling you that this is the business that is always going to give you that extra. You know, if I had a regular job, where would I have came up with that extra money? If I had a regular job that my stuff was set day in and day out, you can work a regular job, use this as your savings, use this as the thing that gets you to the different levels in life and gives you options. Don't go buy crazy things when you don't really need to be doing that. You go use
smart.
This to your advantage. And I could not tell y'all how many times I wanted to call and thank Paul and Jason for throwing those out there. Now, mind you, y'all, I've been in this business for 9 years. Getting new people that often is not easy. It is not easy. But I knew that I had to do this. Y'all, she actually got to go on the October trip with us. She left from school and went to the October trip with us. She got to meet Jason face to face. He saw her when she was 10, but he had not seen her. And he was like, Kristen, I heard that you just got your VIP 1600 or whatever. And it was so fun. And it was like, this is always going to be the place to be. And even when you
thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, it's not the highlights of my life of having to go through all that turmoil and then seeing things or losing my rank and coming back. But no matter what happens, I know that I picked this company for a reason or bullied into it. I don't know, I always joke with her that she bullied me into joining her, but there's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason to each and every day get up, no matter what, and work this damn sheet. It is not an option. It is not an option for me not to do it. 9 years in this business. Yes, I'm a millionaire in this business. Yes, I could sit back and collect a check and go live my best life. But there's so much more to do. There's so much more bigger things to do. And this is the only avenue I can think to do it. Going and getting a regular job. I could go back to that. I could. Do I want to? No. What I know is if I'm consistent every single day, and if I'm showing up every single day, that tends to affect other people. And I am going to throw this out there that on that last day of the month, or even that last week of the month, when I was like, whoa, we better figure something out, I was still sending messages to people that have ignored me for 6 and 7 years. And wouldn't you know, one of them said, no, 3 of them, sorry, I had to look at my list. 3 of them was like, you know what, you're right, I probably should do something. And they all ordered. And I was like, what if I would have just said, you know what, it's New Year's Eve, I don't have it in me, my stomach hurts, my head hurts, I can't do this right now, I'll start over on January 1st. Whatever, people don't do that. I just don't want to do it. and I wouldn't have sent those messages to them. I guarantee you somebody else was sending them a message to order their product. But I didn't. And I never have. I never give up. You can't. No, let me take that back. I do give up for 5 minutes. That's
Yeah.
all I can say.
And then you dust yourself off. And you know what?
So,
When you said this and you were telling this story, I looked at my memories real quick on 10 years ago on this day. Now, mind you, I told you I've been in this industry for almost 10 years. Okay. 10
right.
years ago on this day is what made me seek out something. Okay. Was because my car was repossessed. After I had worked a midnight shift, my husband had been laid off at the time. And yeah, my car was repossessed. And actually my status is I hate bills. Enough said. Is it nap time yet? And you guys, I'm telling you that because I was getting like foreclosure notices. I literally like it was, and no matter how much I worked as a nurse, I mean, no matter how much, and I had my highest year as a nurse that year before in 2012 because my ex-husband wasn't working. But it wasn't enough to supplement and pay our bills and to keep up with things and our head above water. This is always this industry, right? And this company, especially this company, because this company changed my life when I joined it almost 6 years ago. And I can tell you, if you set the goal and you focus on helping a lot of people, okay, you got to be focused on helping other people along the way, but you just set that goal. I promise you, if you work your butt off, you're gonna get somewhere and you're gonna be able to do a lot of things. Just like Susan told you, it was like a blessing. All right. You can choose to focus. She could have sulked, but where would she have gotten? Like, where would she have gotten? Nothing would have changed. But this kind of opportunity, like literally, and I do want to caution those of you that may come into a huge season that you are blessed beyond measures. Okay. And I wish I would have learned very long ago. In my first venture and even in this one. But sometimes we sacrifice things to get to where we're at for a reason. I wish I would have been a better steward with my money early on, right? Early on. And then it's not that I wasn't a good steward. I went through a nasty divorce. Let's just say it took a hit on me and I decided to walk away from everything that I had literally checked off my dream board all these years to start off with my clothes on my back. But guess what? My girls watched me and my daughters, they have watched me all this time. They weren't like literally 10 years ago, I couldn't even afford my daughter's lunch bill and she couldn't get hot lunch in school. So I'm telling you that because we each have a story that pushes us beyond. And I want you guys to think about what your story is and what it is that this opportunity truly could bring for you and your family if you took it serious and you didn't worry about the people that were waiting on you to fail. Or like Susan said, the men, in the male dominated industry, like where she was at when she started, watch her be like, yeah, right. Like she's going to quit and go do that. Well, look now. Right. And yes, you may have had a setback and you may lose your rank here and there, but every time you turn around, like, where are you going to have that kind of opportunity to come up with that? I know my daughter's tuition too is on my back, but I talked her back into living with me after the first semester and not doing so hot. I was like, yeah, you can just, but she's going to school right here. Right. So you guys like think about where you could literally be. And Susan, like, that is a hard thing to share sometimes, you guys, like the setbacks. And then sometimes as a leader, you like are afraid to share those things, I guess. I'm not afraid to share that kind of stuff, but some people are because they don't want people to think that they're failing. They don't want people to think, oh gosh, but here's the thing. Every single one of us is going to have times where we're defeated. Drew, when he was still here before he left and had his baby and everything, and Cliff came along, he totally called me out when I was going through my divorce. Why is your PPA 0? And I said, yeah, I was working literally at 3 different hospitals during COVID. I said, look, I'm not making excuses, but I'm making excuses. However, during that time, I wasn't enrolling. Like I just wasn't focused on enrolling because I was like barely coming up for water. I literally was there during the entire time for my team. Like I was in the background cheering on, throwing credits, helping them figure out how to promote and get to where they were getting to, even though I wasn't myself. But to be fair, I wasn't following up like I needed to. So that just goes to show it doesn't matter how much you post and share and so forth. If you're not following up and you're not literally asking, like if you're not telling people what they can have and what they can achieve or what they're going to get out of these products, guys, I was a hater. Like I was like, Susan, like, no, 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 I'm not doing this. But then I heard feel better, sleep better, like body's feeling better, all the things that I actually needed. And I tried it. And yeah, the rest is history. And then I was so darn excited to share it. Like, so Susan, okay, so since we have 10 minutes left
I was
with
reading.
Ultimate Thriver and Elite, like a recipe for incredibleness, right? And it being the new year, what would you tell everybody right now to help get them set? You know, we've talked about vision boards, we talked about IPAs, we've talked about all these things, you know, there's Zoom calls and so forth. What would you tell people? Because like literally some people think they're working when they're not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have to watch that kind of stuff. So here's what I have been doing. So somebody just asked me here, what do you say to the people who have ghosted you or ignored you all this time? Y'all really, first of all, I don't just send them Thrive messages. So if they have ignored me, they kind of go on a list and I might just comment, custom conscious comment on their post and all that kind of stuff. But here's what I said literally on the last week, and I've already been doing this week. Okay. I know we haven't been able to get you thriving yet, but I am not giving up on you until you tell me to. LOL. So, what is it going to take for you to start thriving with me, to feel better, to sleep better, to have all day energy, to manage your weight? What is it going to take? Believe it or not, y'all, most of the time they'll come back and say, I just don't have the money. Well, what is your budget? I have been a master at overcoming objections. I could do a whole Zoom just on that. Because in the Mary Kay world, that is one thing you learned how to do all the time. But I literally just come out and ask, what's it going to take for you to start thriving with me? Today, I got another one. This girl has been thinking about promoting with me since June. She has yet to pull the trigger. So here's what my friend Amber told me to say this morning, Amber Davis. Happy New Year. As 2023 gets going, I wanted to let you know, I wanted to talk to you more about this business. I'm assembling a new team and I want you to be part of it. What is it going to take for you to be a part of my new dream team? It's very, very simple. Y'all, they may not come back. They may not be ready. And that's where you have to continuously show up on social media. And if I could say this over and over again, and I've heard multiple millionaire leaders, every single day you show up in your stories, you talk about your Thrive. You don't just show a picture, you tell them what it's doing for you. Your social media, please trust me on this. I have a degree in marketing and advertising, and that's what I did. Your social media is like a billboard when you're driving down the highway. You see that billboard over and over and over again. And the day you decide that you want to go buy a new car, you remember that billboard that was on the highway. That's the day you do it. They are going to see your social media. Please do not have your feelings hurt if they are not commenting, if they are not, oh yeah, can you sign me up and let me spend $160 a day? Whatever, that does not happen. Your social media is a billboard. It is your free advertisement. If you had a brick and mortar business, you would not have free advertisement. I spent millions a year advertising car dealerships, y'all. So you have to advertise. You have to talk about what it's doing for you. You have to go live, even when you don't look your best, to talk about this product is doing for you. You have to go on there and thank the 5 new customers that you got this month. Yay, you've got to do all that. But they're most likely, that's attracting them to you. They're paying attention, but they're not quite ready until you send that message and says, hey, I saw that you were looking at my story and I appreciate you supporting me. Have you ever thought about this Thrive thing? Or I know we've talked about it before and I just haven't got you to pull the trigger. What is it going to take for you to start thriving with me in 2023? What is it going to take? Somebody who's got a sample from you and they are ghosting you now, whatever the situation may be, they have yet to order. They're crazy. I don't know why they're not ordering. I just send a message. Hey, did you ever get to finish that sample pack? If it's not for you, do you mind sending that back to me? I've got a list of people who are needing that. Do you think they're going to send it back? No, they're not going to send it back. They're like, oh, Susan, I completely forgot about it. All right, let's start tomorrow.
I want to interrupt you one second. I'm sorry to interrupt you again.
No, you're fine.
I talk too much, but I want to address something because a lot of people talk about this, and I saw it come up over here in the comments. And it was this: I have people ignore me because they say it don't work and it's a scam. Move on. I do not sit there and go tit for tat for that. Move on. You don't need to waste your time on that. Listen, again, I'm going to tell you guys this: people will treat you and address things with you how you allow them to. Okay. So it's just nonsense for me for somebody to say that. Why? Because I take the product. I've seen it help millions, like thousands and thousands of thousands of people. So it doesn't matter what somebody else says about it being a scam. It's not a scam. It absolutely works. A lot of people can make money. Look it up on the IRS website. We all pay taxes. But listen, the product literally speaks for itself. So how do they know? Like, they sound silly. And I know because I was that person that was a skeptic, right? So just move on. Like, you don't have anything to prove to those people. All right. You don't have anything to prove to them except for go help somebody else thrive. That is then going to probably share it, and they're going to continue to see it on their timeline. And that's my biggest thing that I want to tell each of you guys. And Susan, how do you come across the, do you do the same? Like, I mean,
no, I'm not.
I don't waste my time with that.
Listen. Well, I'm going to tell you this last one that signed up for me with me over the weekend. She was just like, "Oh, I do Juice Plus. I'm going to see how that works for me." Y'all, I've watched her for years. There ain't nothing in her body changing. So it was always just an excuse, but it finally came through. So I don't listen to the people who talk about it being a scam. I don't listen to the negativity. I feel confident enough of what I've accomplished in this business and what this product has done for me. That to me is just ignorance. And so how are they gonna know the truth? Well, I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep talking about what it's doing. They're most likely eventually going to see it. And you want to know how I know they're going to see what I'm talking about? Is because I may not say anything to them at that point, but I am going to go comment on their post. I'm going to go build a relationship with them. I'm going to send them a happy birthday message. I'm going to ignore that stuff. I'm going to be in their stuff to where they see mine. Does that make sense? Like, that's why we do custom conscious comments. And Debbie, you asked, I'm always afraid to ask people why they like my post. I don't ask them why they liked it. I just thank them for liking it. And hey, have you ever really thought about looking into this Thrive thing? If it's not for you, hey, we can still be Facebook friends. But if it is, I would really like to send you some information. I will tell you this. I said this yesterday. I'm notorious for being in my car and going onto my voice clip to somebody who's boldly ignored me, or maybe I've never reached out to them before, but there's somebody that maybe is a little intimidating to me, like they're a big wig in this county, or they're a doctor or a lawyer or a pharmacist. And I will get on my voice clip and I'll be like, "Hey, friend, so listen, I'm on my way to go talk to somebody about Thrive. And for some reason you crossed my mind."
I love that. I love that. It was very like subtle, but it's like, hey, I'm on my way to tell somebody about this Thrive thing. And like, you came up. Like,
yeah, you crossed my mind. I don't know why I've never talked to you about it before. I'm on my way to this meeting. There's a reason why you crossed my mind. Do you mind if I just pop you over some information about it? If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it is, I want to be the one to share it with you. If you're cool with that, just give me a thumbs up. And when I get stopped, I'll pop that information over to you. And I do that. And then I'll forward it to like 8 people. I'm notorious because I sound busy. I sound like I'm like, whoo, I'm going to talk to somebody about this. Y'all, that works. That's when I'm like, dude, I hadn't reached out to enough people today. I got to come up with something. And that's one of the things that I will do. And I'm a walking advertisement, y'all. I'm a very, very busy person in my community. I sit on our city council. I'm the mayor pro tem, which is like the vice president of this town. I'm on the economic development board. I'm on the chamber board. I'm about to be the president of the chamber again. I went full circle in that. I'm was the president of every parent teacher organization in every school that my kids attended, but they both graduated now, so I don't have to do that. I really think my ultimate goal is to be the Aggie mom president, but we got some time. So, I literally am super, super involved. So I'm always around people. Does everybody that sits around me thrive with me? Absolutely not. But I'm always going to be that walking example. You will always, because I am a walking advertisement. I always thought that with Mary Kay. When I was doing Mary Kay, my makeup and hair were always done. Thrive, not so much, but because I work from home. But you have to represent what you do, and you constantly have to be showing up on social media. That is key. It's free advertisement.
Yeah, I think that's super important. By the way, happy payday. We'll wrap it up here in just a second. But and I know you're reading that comment over there, but you guys, here's the thing. No matter what you do, you're always going to have people that are going to be skeptical, that aren't going to believe it. I am a see it and believe it person. Like if I don't see it or I don't feel it, then it's not real to me. Okay. So the reality of it is, yeah, there's a lot of people that I think are full of crap online. Okay. Like just seriously. However, if somebody's not willing to give it a try, your job isn't to convince them. So quit spending all your time on that customer that said they were going to order last week or last month or last year, and get focused on who you can help next. Okay. Like just keep on sharing and advertising and talking to new people and following up with ones that you have, and not be afraid to, like, if you see somebody comment something that this will literally, like, this product was designed to help exactly what they're asking help for. Right? They're literally asking you, hey guys, do you have any ideas of what I could do? Or man, I really need to do this. And you know how it's helped somebody, like share it. You're not being a burden to them. You're giving them a gift. You need to switch your mindset on what you're offering somebody. Just like that mom that's struggling, that's tired of working 2 jobs. She doesn't know how she's going to do it. She doesn't know how she's going to pay for it. You guys, how many single moms have joined me because they literally were getting their bills shut off and they needed this by, next week. And man, I've never seen people run so fast in their life. But anyway, Susan, last minute things that you want to say?
Yep. So we often say, get your thrivers thriving for free. Yay. Okay. I would love for all of my thrivers to be thriving for free. I set a goal every month that I have 20 of my customers thriving for free. We finished with 21 on December 31st. So how do I do that? I'm going to share with y'all real quick. Because most of my business is referrals now. I've already tapped into my entire warm market, right? So I'm going off referrals now. So what I do is I shouted out all those people who got their stuff for free. You can go see my post if you want to. I do that. And then I send that to them and say, hey, do you mind going and commenting on this and maybe sharing this post so that we can get you maybe some more thrivers? But here's what I do. All of my current thrivers, I will send them a message that says, hey, I've came across 2 3-day samples that I want to give to your family and friends, family or friend. Who do you want them to go to? I'm going to do the whole smart sampling situation. If you don't know what that is, you can go look it up in Team Thrive Nation of how to make sure those samples get in the hands, free accounts, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to start with my customers. I don't say, hey, do you know with just 2 referrals, you can thrive for free? Who do you think might want to thrive with you? Nah, they're not promoters. They don't know who to ask. Okay. They don't want to sell anybody. So I say, I have 2 3-day samples that I've came across. I would love to send them to one of your family and friends. Who do you want them to go to? Y'all, they always come back with 2 names every single time. Yep. Every single time, especially if they're loving their Thrive. All the time, I'll ask my customers, tell me your top 2 things you love about your Thrive. They'll say, my energy and I sleep better. Great. I screenshot it, take it down, post it. Hey, thanks, Jennifer, for telling me that you're sleeping great and feeling better. I shout them out. Their friends are seeing that. Then their friends say, hey, what is she talking about? Oh, hold on. Let me give you Susan's information. The majority of my business is all
you're friending them. And then
I friend them.
Yes.
I started building that relationship with them. Y'all can't even imagine how many customers I have that I seriously know their entire personal life and I've never met them. I've never met them face to face because I do build that relationship with them. That is a great way to get referrals. That's a great way to build outside your warm market and help your customers thrive for free. If they thrive for free, guess what happens? They stick with you. That's probably the closing thing. Stay consistent. Please don't give up, y'all. Tap into people. Don't take advice from people whose paycheck you would not switch with.
Man, listen, that was freaking dynamite. And I totally just recorded the last 2 minutes of this. And that was your entire spiel on how you are going to get that referral. Okay. So that was absolutely crazy. No, I'm going to I did not type. Her sample message. I didn't type it. I am going to do the smart sampling is what she was talking about. I'm going to put that in the Dream Team page for those of you guys that are on the Dream Team page. But yeah, So everybody have an amazing day. Thank you so much, Susan. Sorry, went over like 5 minutes.
No, thank you for having me. It fills my cup when I get to do stuff like
That
this.
was
So I appreciate and
gold.
I'm honored that y'all asked me. Thank you.
Yes, you're incredible. Thank you so much. I'll return the favor anytime if you want.
Absolutely.
I do. I need to do a lunch and grow. We need to get back to the lunch and grows. Those are
Yep.
gold. 30 minutes of power, you know? So
We do
all right,
I do
guys.
them with Starla. I do them with Starla now. They're called Mashup Mondays. So that because me and Starla both were doing Zooms, Lunch and Grow, and hers was called Roadmap to 200K. It was basically the same people. They were jumping off of that and then jumping on mine. So we mashed them up. Mashup Monday is what it's called, and it's literally your roadmap to building your business is what it's called now.
I love it. I love
Yep.
it.
We
All
love
right,
it
guys.
too.
Well, everybody have an amazing day and set some goals and get some samples out and talk to people. All right, bye guys. I'll get this recording up. It'll be on the playlist for the leadership Zooms. So bye guys.